Having a weekly sex date that you and your partner keep is going to be more healthier for your sexual life and your sexual well-being than waiting those 5, 6, 7, 8 months between you feeling safe again to actually have sexual intimacy. My name is Betsy, and I support adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse and having more fulfilling sex lives. Why do I say that keeping the weekly sex date, even if it sucks sometimes, even if you don't get past the kissing or just coming closer into each other's energetic spheres, even if that, right? Building that muscle and building your tolerance for that slight level of discomfort and honoring those edges of discomfort together is going to be much more beneficial than having an intimate moment, having a sexual moment that happens 8 months later, because that is when you feel safe and that is when you feel secure. And then risking that maybe after that, you are probably, chances are, you're gonna have that moment in 8 months. And because you get into the flow of it and you feel good, they feel good, he feels the pleasure, you feel the pleasure, you know, your partner's enjoying that, you're enjoying it because it's been so long, and you guys feel so good and you are in the bubble of intimacy. Oftentimes what happens is that then you have a panic attack of some sort, or you start feeling the tension and the realization that you had a very overstimulating experience, that you may not have the care in place, the post-sex care in place, so that you can care for your body to come down from such an intense experience that hasn't happened in months, but that you have been also desiring. And it puts you back on this loop of you feeling disassociated, not wanting to experience that post-panic attack that happens after having such an intense sexual experience that you haven't had in a while. So when we consider having sex or intimacy dates where you and your partner set a time, whether it's 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours, even if you don't use that full time, but that you both know, okay, we're gonna have some intimate time together, we're gonna possibly have some touch. You would refer to the things that you like to do, like your sexual yeses, your sexual nos, your sexual maybes. When and you know what's coming, and you know what's not coming, you know what might be coming. But when we have those guards in place, like I know that on Thursday evenings, me and my husband, fiance, boyfriend, we are intimate, and that is our time to be in that space. You are already have a container with the date and the time. You have another layer of a container when we are going to assume that you've had the conversation about the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and the things that you know you kind of open to doing. And then with that layer, and them also knowing that you are in a sensitive season of healing, right? You guys are going to then be able to meet each other in a much more grounded way, in a much more mindful way, and a much more nurturing way, where if you need to stop, or even if they need to stop, and you can gauge and you can push a little bit. But it's not that you're going to have this intimacy date this one Thursday, and then it's gonna be 5 months later that you're gonna be intimate again. No, because over time, you are building the tolerance, you are building the capacity to be with each other and to feel each other and to have conversation, because that's also a part of it. Just because you're gonna have these intimacy sex dates, that doesn't mean you have to have sex. That doesn't mean that anything what is categorized as sexual has to happen. You can cuddle, you can just touch, you can just hold, you can give you can give each other massages, you can just eye gaze, you can breathe together, you can watch a sensual movie together. It doesn't have to be sex the way that we understand it. The purpose of having these sex dates or these intimacy dates are not for you to do the thing. It's actually for you to build on the skill of intimacy, to build the tolerance that you have to be with your partner and continue to grow that sexual edge, that intimacy edge, so that eventually you might go and have the sex. You may have more of those more deeper intimate experiences, but you don't have that gap that usually happens for us, where we don't know when it's gonna happen, and then when it happens, it just happens, and then it's too much and it's overstimulating. So I encourage you, start with sex dates, intimacy dates, and really reduce that possibility of a gap of not having sex at all. So reduce that gap of not having any sex at all for that long amount of time, that then when you do have the sex, it becomes so overstimulating that it brings you back to that place. It brings your relationship back to that place where sex feels daunting, it feels like too much, and we're back into a cycle of not being intimacy, feeling bad, feeling ashamed. And if we combat that with having weekly sex dates, even if they suck, we actually, believe it or not, create more safety in our bodies and actually rebuild that relationship with sex and intimacy with our partner, because it's not something that is a foreign and overstimulating experience. If this video was of any value to you, please let me know in the comments or send me a private message at betsy@expressivesoma.com. And if you would like to not leave the sex conversation on the table and bring it into the bedroom through an integrative plan, my link is in the bio. I would love to support you.